Howdy, folks. My name is Leonard Podolak. I'm the executive director of Home Roots Shemesh Nu, and I'm joined by my colleague Graham Lindsay of Wavelength Media and the amazing Holler from the East Coast. We have Colin Grant, Mike Liliev, and Stephen McDougall from this amazing new band. So great to have you guys here, and we're so excited that you're going to be doing a show on Home Roots Online coming up on November the 10th. Woohoo! Welcome.
Yes.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
That's an awesome background, Stephen. I love that. Where are you right now?
Oh my God. I can't tell you.
Okay. See what I'm saying, folks?
Wrong video chat. Sorry.
Wrong video.
That's in a few minutes from now.
It's a show not to be missed, obviously.
Never mind. I'm just just across from the Americans here down at in southern New Brunswick.
Nice.
Interesting time.
Yeah.
Hey, Colin, where are you at?
I'm in downtown metropolitan Margery Forks, where it is. There are some rain flakes just starting to fall.
Nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Mike, where are you coming from today?
I'm coming from my home in Westmount, Cape Breton, right in the island, bye.
So we got quite a bit of the Maritimes covered today, and yeah, well, the sun is shining bright in Winnipeg today, which means it's pretty cold outside.
I thought it would be winter there now, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, they say it's going to warm up today, but there's snow on the ground, and it's I have 3 layers. I mean, I took them off. I only have 1 layer on now, but there was the hoodie and the little jacket, and then the bigger jacket, and yeah, here we are.
And the second toque.
Yeah, the second toque. I have an entire collection of these because my kids steal them anyway. But anyway, diving into the matter at hand here, it's so great to have you guys on, and this is sort of a coming together of musical careers and genres. Of course, Mike and Stephen have 2 of the members of Slow Coaster, and Colin Grant, one of the most celebrated fiddle players in Cape Breton. It's bringing together many musical styles and influences. And I have to admit that I'm sort of I'm a big folky, but I do like rock and roll, and I was listening to some Slow Coaster, and one of the things that I was planning on asking was, well, what made you decide to do a folk project? But then when listening to your music, every song struck me differently, and there were influences. The downbeat was being hit a lot, the upbeat was being hit on other tunes. There was reggae and punk rock and all these styles, and so it seems like the folk music is it's a natural just part of the journey.
It's Cape Breton Islands too, right? Like, you start in Cape Breton Islands a lot of the times with the folk music, and you kind of move away from that because that's your grandparents and parents and aunts and uncles stuff. And then as you become the grandparents and aunts and uncles and stuff, you just circle back again. Mike and I were both in some Celtic bands, some Celtic rock bands back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And yeah, we're from Cape Breton. So it's not really, for us, it's not a very big stretch. It's just part of our kind of communal heritage. So.
And getting to play.
If I was in Mississauga right now, and I was trying to explain to you how I got into fiddle music, it would be a different conversation, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And for me, like, getting to play tunes between Steve and Mike on guitar, it's always been, it's never been a question of how do we make this fit with the traditions that I feel more familiar with. It's always been, wow, Steve and Mike play guitar like the left and right hands of a Cape Breton piano player. It's like it's never felt unnatural in any way, and trying new directions for songs have always felt like something it was easy to meld with tunes either from a traditional source or from an original or more contemporary source.
That's right. I mean, it seems like you guys approach it like it's music, and that you're not inhibited by what you're supposed to do, and it actually just comes out. It's hard to describe, I guess, but yeah, it just seems very natural.
That was
We're all
kind of
about the jaw times, you know.
That was the mandate of this group too. The mandate of this group was to, I mean, Colin already has a lot of traditional stuff on lockdown, right? And Mike and I have been doing kind of this psychedelic, whatever you want to do kind of music for 20 years now. So the mandate was never to form a traditional band. You know, there's a lot of those out there. The mandate was to let's take what we love and make it our own and make it be different or this or that. And it's working out really great. Like we've been able to kind of blend in a bit with the traditional community. What do you think, Colin? Whether we piss them off or not, I don't know. Sometimes.
Well, you know, if you're not pissing at least one or two people off, you're doing it wrong, I'd say.
Yeah, totally.
No, I totally agree. You know, music. There's however many billions of us out there. You know, and if we all thought the same thing, it would be pretty boring, right?
And you know, Cape Breton, there's a huge culture and tradition of traditional music, and to be able to further the tradition and, you know, push it in a different direction, maybe not the whole tradition, but to be able to use that and augment it is something that I certainly appreciate.
So one of the songs that we recorded on the record actually got a head start getting on 10 years ago now. Steve and I got asked to pair up for a Celtic Colors Festival project that brought together songwriters and tune players, instrumentalists, and we had to take old traditional tunes, instrumental tunes, and write lyrics to them, or take a song and put a traditional spin on it. And the song "Love of Lost Sake" was lyrics that Steve wrote to an old Scottish slow air from the 1700s called Archibald MacDonald of Keppoch, and that turned out to be a tune that fit perfectly with all of the ideas that floated around between Mike bringing some country folk influences in and tunes and some pop folk. It all seemed to blend together in the right kind of soup.
Yeah, it's no surprise. I mean, if from a folky like me's point of view, it seems to me if you go back in history, you know, that rock and roll and pop music and all that sort of kind of came from these traditions in a existential way, and in some ways a more direct way, especially in the United States. But I just yeah, no, I really appreciate, you know, how the music it does come together, you know, with the traditional and the contemporary songwriting. Songwriting's obviously at the center of the band, and what you guys have done for many years together in Slow Coaster. And it seems like you do a lot to develop. Stephen, you've been developing and working with songwriters for a long time, and you know, doing stuff like the Song Camp.
Even songs like songs from the Holler record. One of the more popular ones that we first came out with was "The Wind That Shakes the Barley," which is a famous folk song since the 1700s. And I had brought that. So we were playing in kind of a Celtic rocky thing. Remember when that was kind of like really kind of hitting in like 99
Oh yeah.
kind of thing? So Mike and I had both been kind of temporarily hired to play guitar in this band. And I remember bringing that song to them, and not to poo-poo on them right now. They're all, super nice people. I remember bringing The Wind That Shakes the Barley with the same kind of chordy thing, like not exactly the same, but like, hey, you guys, I think this could be really cool if you put kind of a cool beat behind it and this and that. I remember even then when Celtic music was getting progressive, they were like, that will never, ever work. That will never work. And they were like, we're not doing it. No one's going to do it.
Yeah.
And here we are. Here we
Here
are.
you are doing it. Well,
I'm sorry. I have no idea how to change his background now.
you know what? You're fine.
Okay.
This is great. I wish I knew how to get a background.
Like a floating forest spirit.
I'm amazed I figured out
spirit of Celtic music. I've come to entertain you via electricity.
So what have you guys been doing in this? How do you play together and create?
We drive, man. We drive long distances through provincial borders and stuff. We've got our own little bubble going on here, and it's been really pretty successful.
Yeah.
We've been able to pull off a couple of shows. As soon as the record came out, I filmed a little video for one of our singles, Widow's Vow. We kind of had these plans originally. Mike and I had kind of brainstormed on a video idea, and then the pandemic, with quarantine, everything was on lockdown until July. So I actually filmed a video in my backyard with puppets. Well, not puppets, but like marionettes. I kind of Googled, how do you make super cheap marionettes? And so that took up some time. Like the thing that's kind of,
that looks awesome right there.
I think Steve is a marionette.
He looks a little like a marionette right now. That's hilarious. Hey, well, on that note, while Stephen is stuck in partway through the beam, Mike, why don't you tell us about your trip to China that you did with that guy? Because that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. We went over for a couple of weeks. We did a few shows as guests of the Chinese government, and wow, that is not like Cape Breton now over there. It is the furthest thing from Cape Breton. And it was amazing. We went over with a couple of bands and a couple of sound guys, and we almost got arrested a few times, and
I'm not surprised.
Some really great shows. People seem to get over the language barrier. I had to take pictures everywhere as I went because of this thing. Everybody was coming up and touch the Viking beard. Hello. And there would be guys in our crew with tattoos, and they were getting fondled by strangers. Lots of pictures like, hey, I'm this guy.
Yeah.
Not knowing that I was there playing music or anything,
yeah,
but just because we're weird looking. Which is fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah. You suffer from the same thing too, do you?
I definitely suffer from. I completely. Yeah. No.
Yeah. It was kind of a life-changing experience as far as like seeing that many people all in the same place. Just, it was the population kind of changed. We went to a rural place, and the rural place was like 1.5 million people. We're like, this is not rural. What are you talking about? Yeah. Meanwhile, there were like monks walking around a mall with barefoot and robes on, and you'd see stuff like that. It was amazing. Yeah, it was life-changing. Yeah.
Well, I know that once the pandemic ends, whenever that happens, we will all be doing those kind of crazy trips again. And
yes. Beijing, here I come.
Yeah, and I know Holler. I can imagine that there'll be some plans for you guys to travel internationally as well.
That would be
We're
fun.
hoping so.
And so- sorry.
Sorry, Graham, go
No,
for it,
after
buddy.
you, Colin.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, when we had decided on making May 1st our release date, and then the pandemic came along, but there wasn't ever really a question of maybe this isn't a great time to put out an album now. It seemed even more sensible at the time to put it out and figure out how we were going to promote it and tell people about it later. But we're definitely looking forward to the chance to actually being this band live and playing shows and meeting people after the show and hopefully signing a CD for them, you know?
Right?
Yeah. Well, you did play the Philly Folk Festival this summer.
We did.
True.
We
Yeah.
we didn't get any cheesesteaks though, but we're going to keep trying. We're hoping
Yeah.
to get there in 3D and HD real soon sometime.
Well, I was hoping that we would get a song out of you guys, even though you can't really do that on Zoom. I thought this was the perfect band to attempt something. We seem to have lost Steven, however.
Steve
So-
sent a text. He said, "I just got dropped. I'm trying to rejoin." So if
Oh,
Mike and
really?
I can stall long enough,
Okay, let's see if he trying participants. It only says 4, and it doesn't seem like he's in the waiting room.
hey Steve, try
There we
again.
go. There we go. He's
there
in
he
now.
is. All right, folks.
Got it.
Okay, here we go.
Is the floating head back?
Oh, that was amazing. This is my,
Yeah.
you know what?
Fingers crossed.
So far, I have to say, this is no offense to any of the other artists, but this is my favorite interview so far. We're breaking,
Hey!
we're breaking all the rules, and yeah, he's that looked awesome. So yeah, I was just gonna say, if there's with Zoom, it's really impossible to do a song together, typically. But I thought, it might be kind of a fun thing to attempt, just to see what happens for like one verse or a chorus on something, to see if we can make something happen here. So folks, on behalf of my colleague Graham Lindsay from Wavelength Media, my name is Leonard Podolak. I'm the executive director of Home Roots Chemin Chez Nous. So excited to be joined by Holler here on this little preview of their show, upcoming November 10th at 8 p.m. Atlantic time, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m.
And if-
Pacific.
And if you want to get tickets, you definitely can at homeroots.ca. Definitely make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube. But right now, I think we're going to hear some music, perhaps.
That's a definite
Okay.
maybe. Are we all good there, Graham? All right, game on. Here's a little version of Wind That Shakes the Barley, purposefully out of time. Some might even call it jazz.
Started in the valley green, started me with my blue light. Sad how to throw the two between your love and the new love. All that I heard the news that you gave me, think I'm island dearly. It's soft the wind blew down the glen. Barley.
Flute solo.
I must protect pilgrims on the road.
That was my flute solo.
You heard it here, folks. You're first here, folks. Thanks so much, everybody, to Holler.
So I have to. I'm sorry, Leonard. I know you were wrapping up, but I have to break in. So earlier, before we started the video, we
What?
sorry,
Spit it out.
keep this straight face. Earlier, okay. Earlier, before we started, I can mute you, Mike. Before we started, like, just for people who are watching this at home who don't actually know how difficult it is actually to make music on something like Zoom, Leonard, we're going to do the same thing as we did before. Leonard, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Leonard's going to try to count it exactly the same time as he hears me saying it. So you're going to enjoy this at home. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, it's so off. So my question now is, Colin, did your brain go completely? Did it explode while you were trying to play when Stephen was singing?
I would have been smart to have taken my headphones out, but it was also a jazz odyssey like no other for me. But I don't know about for everybody else. Maybe it sounded in time.
No, honestly, I thought it sounded pretty darn good.
Hey, maybe we can have a band this way, boys.
Call ourselves the Zoomers. We'll just take mushrooms and go crazy.
Go.
That's right, folks.
It's been a long 8 months. long 8 months of sanitizing groceries.
So you
You
can
know, it's
imagine.
Eddie Van Mandola.
Vandola.
What was that, Leonard?
I was just gonna say, I think folks have a really exciting show to look forward to, and
Oh, when is that?
it's gonna be on the 10th of November. So put it in the calendar.
I'll try and make it.
I hope you do, and I hope all of you do too, watching, because this is an amazing band. Their music is really exciting. They are really fun people, as you can see, and you know, the Zoom medium for such performances seems to really be fun. So please check it out. Holler, November 10th, Home Roots Shemeshne New. Check out our website and buy a ticket. Talk to you soon.
Give her, Colin. Give her.
Give her, yeah.
Can't hear you. Give it a quick
Well-
little tune, Colin. Give like 2 seconds of a tune.
All right, one quick one.
All right.
Yes, bye. Feel it, bye.
Nice. Thanks so
See you
much,
all
guys.
later.
Yep. Homeroots.ca for tickets, and check us out on Facebook and YouTube. Check these guys out everywhere, and we'll see you on the 10th.
All right. Thank you guys
Thanks,
so
guys.
much for putting up with that.
Thanks.